I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer.
Because generation of children cannot come via sex outside marriage. Infidelity is unacceptable. It is rejected and it should be frowned at in any marital relationship. The Bible says in Hebrews 13 verse 4, marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. Yet warmongers and adulterers God shall judge. Genesis 2 verse 24 tells us that a man will leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and both shall become one flesh. The Bible didn't say he should cleave to his wife and a side chick,
or a baby mama,
or a concubine, or a mistress, or a girlfriend. But sadly, that is happening in our current society. So this, in a brief, is what infidelity is all about.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, ma'am. You've done justice to those definitions of infidelity. I'm sure we've gotten what we want. Okay, now we know what infidelity is. Now we're not talking about just adultery or infidelity, maybe a single girl. We're talking about infidelity in marriage. Yes, in marriage. Let's know, what are the things that actually causes infidelity in homes, in marriage? Are there things that really cause it? Are there things? Because, Pastor Mrs. Ebele, I've heard people say, for the men to cheat is normal, is natural. I don't agree, but I've heard it so many times. It's normal, it's natural. That is the way God made them to be. I don't think so. We're going to come to that, But is it possible that there are actually some things that, that makes the men to go out? Or to just want to, that is the way we are made. Let's just go and have fun. What causes infidelity in marriage?
There are a lot of factors that could lead to infidelity in marriage.
Okay.
Let me start with this. Unseriousness to marital vows.
Okay.
On the day of wedding, a man and woman exchanges marital vows to be there for each other until death do them part. But again, sadly, in the course of the marriage, these vows break anyhow, many, many times. And the devil is right at the corner to bring reasons why those vows will break. So, marital couples are advised to be resilient to their marital vows. Another cause is unhappiness and dissatisfaction. This is a very, very serious factor in a lot of marriages, where either of the partner is suddenly no more happy in the way things are running in the home. And once unhappiness sets in, focuses shift. Your partner is no longer your focus. You're looking at somebody else to share your burden with, to to let off the steam with. So we should try to avoid unhappiness and dissatisfaction in the marriage.
Okay.
Another one is unresolved conflicts. Conflicts are bound to come up in the marriage.
Yeah.
But how do you handle it when it comes up? Do you bottle up? Let me tell you, there are two ways that conflict can affect a marriage. If it is addressed by the two people involved, it draws them together.
Okay.
Conflict brings about the intimacy when it is resolved.
Okay.
But when they avoid themselves, they do withdrawal syndrome, you find out that separation begins to rear its ugly head. So unresolved conflicts is another cause for infidelity. Low self-esteem is another cause.
Low self-esteem.
You don't trust yourself that you're good enough. Maybe you're a woman, your husband tells you you're too fat. You don't have figure 8. Or the other way around. The woman tells the man, you don't have broad shoulders. You don't have 6 packs. You know? So you see low self-esteem. But outside there, the devil is preparing somebody that will tell you those sweet things you want to hear. Those comfort things you want to hear. And by the time you know it, you're seeking those comfort things from outside. Somebody is there to give you that friendship that you're not getting from your spouse. Another cause of infidelity is childlessness. That happens a lot in our African society. Nobody plans to be childless or unfruitful in his or her marriage. But sadly, a lot of couples don't handle it well. It leads the man to go outside to prove a point that he's
He's a man.
The woman, sometimes too, she's told, oh, maybe the man has an issue, she goes outside. So childlessness is another cause of infidelity. Another cause of infidelity could be childhood trauma. Maybe something about the person's environment. When he or she was growing up as a child, she watched the father beat up his mother several times. He watched the father, pack the mother's things, throw them out of the house. That bitterness is there. By the time he's married, before you know it, he's beating up his wife, and then he's looking for somebody else outside that resembles his mother more than the wife he's marrying. Anger is another form of a cause for infidelity. Anger, bitterness, being irritable with your spouse, no tolerance. Anything she does gets on your nerves. Boredom, you don't find your spouse an interesting partner. She's old-fashioned. She's archaic. She doesn't know what is the current thing. You look for somebody outside that will give you that, that sweetness. So these are some of the causes that can lead somebody to have infidelity in marriage.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let me ask you this. Now, you've talked so much about causes of infidelity, having defined what infidelity is in marriage. I ask you this question. Now, the man, that is the wife or the husband, who falls prey to this menace in marriage called infidelity? Who falls prey more? Who falls prey more into this menace of, infidelity in marriage? The man or the woman?
I would say the woman is mainly the victim.
Okay.
Though the man sometimes falls victim.
Okay.
But it is mainly the woman. Because, women by nature, we are not promiscuous. By nature. It is the other way around. That's why in your opening statement, you said something like men believe that it's their right, this, that. But women by right, they are on the, they control themselves and all that. So somehow you see them suffering silently. I'll be talking about that,
later.
Because, yes, they are suffering silently. They are in pain. But because they have been brought up with this psychology, stay in your marriage, stay in your marriage. For the sake of your children, stay in your marriage. You see them suffering and smiling. And sometimes, some even lose their lives. They are not happy, but they can't do much. So I would say that the woman is more a victim than the man.
Okay. now you said that the woman oftentimes falls victim. Now that also tells us that a lot of times the man is the outgoing one that is always going out. Is that what you're saying now? The man?
Yes.
Now the man is always going out. He's the one that is because I've come to realize that greater percentage of the time, the women, they get scared. Like what you said, they are like, my mother stayed in a marriage, my children are here. Even if they are dying, they are still there. They are still there. They carry the cross. They get a suffering. I know a lot of women, even some that are old now, like maybe in their 50s, 60s, their husband beats them and they're still there, But for the men, they're like, the moment the woman angers them, they just go out. And like what you said, something can just attract them outside and off they go. And then they come back and tell you, it's our nature. So I want you to say something about that.
Well, it's a lot is also based on one's background.
Okay.
That's the way the person is brought up.
Okay.
A lot of our men folk believe that by nature they have every right to play around. That man by nature is not monogamous.
Okay.
Even though our Christian teaching says one man, one wife. But the average man, the African man, believes that that's just Bible, English. But that in order to be a real man, one woman cannot satisfy them. And you see them, even real, sometimes believers, though they do theirs secretly.
They hide.
They hide. You see a couple can be watching television. The wife is watching movie, the husband is texting on his phone to one or two or three side chicks or girlfriends. And actually will now say, baby, I'm coming. I have a meeting in the office. I need to dash to this place.
Indeed.
Then he has already made an appointment. And off he goes. So, and they feel it's okay for them. But any day a woman is caught in any form or shade or color of infidelity.
Abomination.
Why would you do that? You're a woman. But it's the same blood that is running through her veins. But she's expected to hold herself. So it's unfortunate, is the culture we have found ourselves in.
So is it acceptable? We should just accept it that is how we found ourselves. It's a culture. That is how we were born into it. So let's just accept it. That will bring us to the next question. But we're going to go on a musical break. But before we go on break, I'm going to ask this question. Okay. How can I cope with infidelity? As a woman, as a man, if my spouse is unfaithful to me, how do I cope? Even if I'm a Christian, okay, how do I cope? How do I cope? Can I live with it? How do I cope with it?
I have a few advices for people who are victims of this infidelity on how to cope with it. One, don't bear it alone. Open your mouth and talk. Talk to somebody. You can talk to a marriage counselor. You can talk to your pastor in your church. You can talk to a relationship therapist. An experienced relationship therapist will give you processes on how to deal with the feelings of shame, feelings of guilt, feelings of anger inside of you that infidelity has caused. So the watchword is share your problem with somebody. Don't bottle up so you don't kill yourself. Okay,
before you go on, let's give this number out if you want to call. You're watching us right now on Marriage Matters. We have the number here. You can call us via this number 07066755788. The number is on your screen right now. 07066755788. I know you we have lots of questions that you may want to ask. Thank God we have somebody that is in the studio right now that is able to give answers to those questions. Yes, 07066755788. Okay, Ma, you can go on now.
Okay. Another way to cope with infidelity is put yourself first. In the midst of the pain of discovering that your partner is cheating, put yourself first. How do you do that? Do things that will cheer you up, that will mend your heart, so you don't let your heart be broken. How do you do it? You can watch the movies. You can go to the gym. Do things to distract yourself so that you don't let the burden weigh you down too much. You can indulge in activities that make you happy. Eat your favorite food. Watch your favorite movies. Just hang out with your friends.
So I should pretend that those things are not happening.
It's not about pretending. It's about not letting it get at you.
Get to me, okay.
Which is what your partner wants to happen. That's why he's in the first place doing such a thing.
Okay.
Another way to cope with that is keep yourself under control. Don't start fighting, street fights.
I was going to say that.
Or rage, get into rage, fits of rage. Your neighbors are hearing you shouting, abusing yourselves. No, don't go into that. Keep your temper calm. Know that these things, anything that has a beginning will surely have an end. There's an extreme case of attempted suicide recently in the social media when a woman discovered her husband was cheating on her and actually went to the lagoon to throw herself into the water. Thank God people saw her and rescued her. That's an extreme case. She was not able to cope. So please, women, calm your temper. Take things under control. Don't harm yourself. The fact that you discover such a thing is enough harm on its own. So be kind to yourself. Allow yourself, you know that these things, eventually, they will come under control.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mrs. Ebele Eruchalu. Okay, let's go on because of time. I was going to ask you, if a woman discovers that her husband is cheating on her, should she fight? But in the course of your talking now, you've answered that. Because I just remembered, this is hilarious, but it does happen, you know. I had this woman some time back that she was complaining that the husband was having an affair and all that. She had all the evidences and all that. Well, no matter how calm we told her to be, one day she went all ahead to confront the girlfriend of the husband and actually was fighting, you know. Will that really solve anything? I want them to hear it from your mouth. It won't.
I would say it was very immature of her to have acted that way.
Okay.
Most times when people act on second-hand information, somebody gossip to them. Your husband is in so hotel with a so woman. Oh yeah, we'll go and check. She goes into frenzy, runs into her vehicle, speeds up to go and verify. Most times, it turns out worse. Women, please, when you get a second-hand information from somebody about your spouse, don't act crazily immediately. Calm down. I would advise you hold on and confront your husband directly. Darling, or baby, or whatever you call each other, please, is this true?
The man
Hear
will the
it.
man tell you the truth?
Hear it from him, yes or no. Don't, because you see, we live in a wicked world. Even that person telling you about your husband, you don't know her motive. A lot of so-called friends have broken their friends' marriages.
Oh, yes.
Another hot news some time ago in the social media was a woman that was told that her husband was coming out of a hotel with a lady. She now ran after the husband and killed herself in her car. She has died. The side chick is alive. So that's irony of life. If she calmed down, remember that this is the father of her children. She has 4 children. Let this man come back. Let us resolve this matter. She would still be alive today.
Yeah.
So please, let's not, carry things to the other extreme. Let's not carry things to the other extremes. Let us learn to take things maturely and prayerfully. As a Christian, carry everything to God in prayer. There is no heart the Lord cannot touch. The heart of the king is in the palms of the Lord. So God can turn the heart of your husband to begin to love you. Try it, and it will happen for you.
Thank you once again. Okay, let me ask you this one. We are still expecting the calls to come in 07066755788. You want to call to ask your questions 07066755788. Pastor Mrs. Ebele Eruchalu, let me ask you this question. Is there any relationship between trust and infidelity? Is there a link? If you trust your spouse, maybe you wouldn't suspect anything, because some people say even if they are committing their atrocity, they're still saying, my wife does not trust me, I don't do anything like that, until they are caught red-handed. Sometimes they are even caught red-handed, they are still lying. You were saying that sit your companion down. Most times it's the man that is the actor there. You sit him down. How many men will really come out and say, yes, I did it? They will deny. A lot of them, maybe a few ones that probably they just fell into that, that temptation, may have the guts to say, okay, it was an error, it was a mistake, my wife, forgive me. I'm going to ask another question. I just remember something. Now, how many men will live like, yes, I did it, So what can you say about that?
You see, every marriage has its foundation. And that foundation determines how that marriage runs. That's why a husband will hear something about his wife, he'll say, no, my wife cannot do this, and vice versa. Even recently, there's a bank MD that was accused of fathering a child with one young girl in Abuja. There was every evidence to show that he even admitted that he was dating the young girl in Abuja. But his wife put her leg down that her husband can never do that.
Imagine.
Can never date a girl young enough to be his daughter. That's trust. High level of trust.
Wow.
Even when it's looking ridiculous.
When it's so obvious.
So, and some people hailed her. Oh, you good wife. Whatever people were saying about your husband, you stood by your husband. While some people said, foolish woman, you don't want to agree that your husband has misbehaved, So, you see, the woman should trust her husband and doesn't even want to hear the other side of it. And it can happen the other way around. There's a Christian musician, we all heard the story when he traveled out. He slept with somebody there, and the woman now later confronted him that she's pregnant for him. I've forgotten the man's name. He's late now, he died. He actually admitted and asked his wife for forgiveness. And the wife forgave him. So a lot depends on, how that marriage is built on what's your foundation of your marriage. If somebody can open his or her mouth to admit to a fault, I believe that person deserves to be forgiven, no matter the depth of the
sin
of
or
the
whatever,
sin
the
or whatever,
offense.
please, we should forgive one another so that we can move
Move
forward.
on.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Mama, I believe that actually, for me, I do believe that if a man actually comes out and say, my wife, I have offended you. I did this, I disappointed you. I fell into this error. This is what I did, this is what I did. Please forgive me. I'm sure a lot of women, women were very soft. They will forgive. But you see, I think a lot of times, the men, they don't come out. Even when, like what I said earlier, even when they are caught red-handed, they are still saying, it's not what you think. It's not what you're saying. What am I thinking? They are still telling you, it's not what you think. Let me explain. So because of that lie, probably, the woman may get like more infuriated. She's like, okay, this is what you've been doing and you still have the guts and all that. Probably that's why it gets from bad to worse. Okay, let's leave it there. Let me ask you this one. Time is running. It's not our friend here now. Sometimes, like we said earlier, men usually fall into this temptation. Let me call it temptation now, because you have your wife at home, you still go out looking for one woman or the other for one flimsy reason or another. Yes, you've given us so many reasons why they go out sometimes, even if they shouldn't go out. For the women, I think we've heard few women that throw caution to the wind and still go out. It's wrong. People, we frown at it even in the society. It's a man's world. No, it's not a woman's world. Women, it's an abomination. For those women, what do you think? Because a lot of us women were like, I can't do it. Earlier on my radio program, we were talking about men that put on wedding rings, or men that don't put on wedding rings. We said the women, when they get married, you see them with their wedding rings on, but you see the husbands from that day, after that day, the ring is out. And men were calling, and we don't wear ring because our fingers get fat.
Okay.
Somebody, funny reasons, and then somebody said that so that they can go out and commit whatever they want to commit.
Okay.
In other words, infidelity. So when they go out, they deceive those young girls. I'm not married. Of course, the girl is looking out for the ring. There's no ring there, so he feels that this one is a young man. He's looking for a wife. Meanwhile, he has 10 children at home. Now, for those women that go out, what do you think is actually the problem with them?
It's actually a shame for a married woman.
Okay, we're going to do this quickly now because of time. We have just a few
married
minutes.
woman to step out of her marriage to look for men outside. But I think what propels such an action is mainly finance. Most women that do that are women that they think their husbands are not able to provide for them to the level that they want.
Okay.
Maybe they want somebody to spoil them with jewelry, clothes, the latest designer clothes and all that, to be able to travel abroad and all that. But their husband is not, his pay packet is not that level. So they look outside. So money is the major thing that makes women flirt. Money. So that they find somebody that can patronize them. They can give them something that will make them, they look the way they want they look. So
wear the trendy clothes and all that.
Yes. Then, another excuse is women that are married to very busy men that are never home to take care of them sexually. So such women, what they actually do is that they use their domestic servants. You hear madam with gate man, madam with houseboy,
madam with driver,
madam with driver, especially driver, very good. That's the level the woman descends, because her own is just somebody to take care of her, emotionally, because the husband is never around. And also, sadly again, what is happening is that some of them become lesbians just to cover up, so that you will never suspect that lady that keeps visiting her, that is why she's visiting. We've heard such stories on the social media where one happened in Anambra State, that the lesbian partner actually killed her husband right there in her presence when the man walked in and cut them. Wow. And so there are a few reasons why women commit infidelity. Yes. Wow,
beautiful one. I wish we could go on and on, but because of time, we just have less than 5 minutes to go now. Quickly, last words. last words on this topic. What do you have to tell viewers at home? For those that are in it already, how do they come out? How do they cope? Just in 2 minutes.
I would like to touch a little bit on how to overlook an unfaithful partner.
Okay.
As an experienced married woman, maybe you've been married for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you know that your husband is a cheat. He carries young girls up and down. Please, just ignore him. Face your children. You cannot sacrifice your marriage because of one little girl outside. You start fighting your husband, you want to divorce, you want to separate. Go into prayers. As a Christian, go into prayers. Let God bring his heart back to you and your children. You have a lot at stake. You have your children, you have the property, you have, things, entitlements for you.
You have your life.
Yes. So you can't, because of one little girl outside, say, I'm leaving my marriage. No. So sometimes overlook them. So men, sometimes they are childish. Just pamper them like a mother to them and keep praying, and God will arrest that person back. So that's my final advice to women out there. Keep your home. Bible says that a wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman with her own hand tears down her home. Let that not be your portion in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Mrs. Dr. Ebele Eruchalu. That was a nice one. Yes, for the wise woman, keep your home, build your home. Only the foolish one pulls it down with their own hands. Let's not be among those foolish ones that pulls down their homes and their marriage. God will help us in Jesus' name. On this note, we shall draw the curtains here. On the program Marriage Matters, it's been a beautiful time out. Like I said before, time is not our friend. I wish we could go on and on because I know the questions are going to start piling up now. But unfortunately, we have to go. Yes. But my special thanks goes out to our mama in the house, and Dr. Mrs. Pastor also, she's the woman of God, Ebele Eruchalu, for taking time out to be with us on TV, on the set today. Of course, I appreciate you, ma. God bless you. Thank you so much. I know I'll call upon you again. You'll call?
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you so much. And for the crew that made this program a success, thank you so much for being there. You're wonderful. We appreciate you. And every other person that has really been working to make this program a huge success, I appreciate you and I say thank you. My name is Ukeshe Fajobi. See you next week on the program Marriage Matters. Bye-bye.